Okay, let's talk about term deposits. And we just heard Koshi talk about the pros and cons and what term deposits are all about. The sort of key takeaway that I got from that introduction video is that term deposits are a safe option, particularly in Australia, because the Commonwealth Government secures it, meaning that if the bank goes belly up, you'll still get your money back at the end of the term, which is really good if you are old, let's say, and you're in retirement and couldn't risk the money being lost. So that was my takeaway from that video from Koshi. So thank you for that, Koshi. Now, just to recap, in the last couple of videos, we have talked about compound interest and simple interest, and it directly relates to term deposits, because the first question that you should ask when you're looking at term deposits is, well, is this simple interest or compounding? Very first question you should ask is, what type of term deposit? Is it simple interest account or is it compounding account? Now, you may think that you may always just want compounding, but it also depends on what the interest rate is. If your simple interest rate is much higher than compounding over a certain period of time, it might actually be better to do the simple interest account. It depends on a few things. So that's the first question you should ask yourself, and then other information to gather in the question or the real life scenario if you are actually going to invest some money into a term deposit is, how long is it going to be in for? So the time, if it is compounding, how many compounding periods annually, and of course what the interest rate is. Okay, so we have an example question here. Let's talk through it. John invests $1,200 into a 3-year term deposit. So a bit of information here straight away. It's T is going to be 3. That compounds, another piece of information here, it's a compound interest type of question, and it's a compound interest type of term deposit, which is really important. So compound interest. It compounds annually, so the number of compounding periods will equal 1, and returns an annual interest rate of 5.5%. So R will equal 5.5%, and as a decimal, that is 0.055. And the question is, how much does John end up with at the end of, that should be 3 years, end of 3-year period. Now, do we have everything that we need? The present value is $1,200. We don't know the future value, that's what we're trying to find out. And we have all the rest of the information. So we can go and find out how much is going to be in the term deposit at the end of the 3-year period. So future value will equal present value, $1,200, outside of 1 plus, and if you're wondering how I'm doing this, I'm using the compound interest formula here. The interest rate, which is 0.055 over 1, all to the power of n, which is 1 times t, which will be 1 times 3. And we can use our calculator from here. 1,200 outside of 1 plus, and we set up the fraction, 0.055, all divided by 1. And then that's all to the power of 1 times 3, which is just 3. So $1,409. I'll just round it to the nearest dollar, so 1,409. I missed the 1, excuse me. Okay, so at the end of the 3-year period, the amount of money in the bank account is 1,409. So the interest earned will be the difference between 1,409 and the initial 1,200. So it'll be $209 that John receives for giving the bank the money. Okay, and that is the end of this term deposit example question. There are a few questions to come. Good luck with those.